this is Walt Disney. I would like to welcome all of you to the Park Streamers Hangout tonight. Bob, Danny, and Cordy are dear friends, and I know they have an amazing podcast for you. So thanks for joining us tonight, and enjoy the show.
Well, hey, kids, dreamers, and jammers, welcome back to another Park Streamers Hangout, and we have got a heck of a show for you tonight. We've got an incredible special guest. I think you may have already guessed it from the title. Yes, Josh Shipley, a former Imagineer, current Universal Creative Director, will be joining us to talk some of his experience at Imagineering, as well as other places that he's worked in his 30-plus years in the themed entertainment industry. But first, let me introduce my co-host. We have sitting right below me, we've got Cordy in California. Cordy, will you let the folks know where they can find you?
Hello, everyone. Cordy in California. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok still, and Discord and Blue Sky.
Awesome. And over here to, I think it's my right, your left, is Barry Place 28. Bob, would you let the folks at home know where they can find you?
Hey everyone, welcome today. You can find me at Barry Place 28 on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, for now, as Cordy said, X and Facebook. So come and join me and have some fun.
Awesome. And I am Theme Park Casual. You can find me on YouTube, X, and Instagram, all of them at Theme Park Casual. So we are going to hop right into this. We have a very special. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Let's say hi to everybody. Who do we got in here already? Who's keeping track? Bob, are you keeping track tonight?
I will do that tonight. So we've got Pirate Girl Trish, Cassandra, Mike. Welcome in, everyone. Tom F, Amusement Park Pirates. Good to see you guys. Jennifer, good to see you as well. Weird Old Man. Hello. Dapper Vanta Cruz in the house. Paul M. Newitt is also here. We have David Diaz, Most Wanted. We also have Barbara Duncan, Donald's fan, and Mike, Mr. Mike Smith, Alan Smithy. Let's see, some guy named Barry Place 28. Oh, we got Latoya Hansen. And
did you get Heather Jung? And
Heather Jung, Carol G,
John Way.
There we go. Oh, we also have Mattercam Matt,
and we have Steve Alkire. Steve Alkire, I just want to say thank you again for that ice cream the other night. That completely hit the spot. You have no idea.
I told him that last night. Between you, me, and my dad, we had the best ice cream bar ever. So thank you so much. We also have Geofire, welcome in.
Shelly Mendez, welcome in.
Mm-hmm. Aubrey Harris. And I think that's it. I think we're caught up now. So welcome in, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah. And as soon as we have our guest ready, we will bring him in. But
good vibes. Happening good vibes. Sorry.
No, good vibes.
Johnny.
And John E. Yes.
Johnny.
All right. So our guest tonight is a former Imagineer, a former Chief Creative Officer, and is currently a creative director at Universal in Florida. 30-plus years in the themed entertainment industry. He was a cast member. He was one of the amazing tour guides on the Great Movie Ride. If any of you have ever been able to ride that one, it is in Yesterland now, but it is a very beloved attraction. Me and him go way back all the way to high school. So let's go ahead and bring him in. This is my friend and yours, Mr. Josh Shipley. Good evening, sir.
Hello.
How are we doing this evening?
I'm good. You were doing the whole romper room thing earlier, and I know you have people online from all different time zones, but I'm a little bit later than you guys. So
yeah, you're over in Florida, so we know it's a little bit late for you. We'll get right.
Good.
Yeah, we're old people now. So speaking of old, we go all the way back to high school, and we actually. The whole reason we ended up talking and finding out that, hey, we're going to become lifelong friends was Josh made a little comment, and it was just singing a little snippet from America Sings. And he was sitting right behind me. I heard him say it, and I turned around and I said, "America Sings?" And he says, "Yeah." And that was it. We were best friends after that. So I get a little bit of
something like that.
Yeah, that's just how it goes with us. And then we randomly, after Josh moved away, we randomly ran into each other in Vegas, and that's how we kind of got back in touch. As you do.
I mean, I was passing out flyers on one corner, you were on the other.
All right, I thought we weren't going to talk about that. But and thanks to the wonder of technology, we were able to exchange email addresses, and we've been in touch ever since. But Josh, give us a little bit about yourself, just a quick synopsis. I told everybody a little bit, but what are some of the high points that you'd like to let everybody know about you?
I don't know. I'm not that interesting, Annie. I sing America Sings in class and try not to get beat up. That's all. You kind of said it, grew up in Southern California, loved Disneyland. My family owned and operated a live stage theater there, just not too far from the high school, which I didn't know was weird until I got into high school and people told me that was weird. Go figure. But that life being backstage and on stage and being part of a family that was part of entertainment. My parents came from entertainment, before we were a family and had the theater and all that kind of thing. And my love for Disney led me to the eventual career at Disney. You mentioned Great Movie Ride, and for those of you that are out there that have been college programmers, that's how I got my foot in the door. On the ops side was on the college program. If you're thinking about the college program, go for it. It's a great way to get to know people, and if you're wanting a longer career in themed entertainment, you just do it. And I don't get any feedback from saying that. I just really liked, the movie ride. And my wife's sitting here off to the side. She also was a Disneyland and Walt Disney World cast member. Let's see what else. That eventually, I'm going to be just skipping stuff. Some's boring and some is already online in too many places. But I eventually did end up at Walt Disney Imagineering. Was there for over 21 years, working on some great stuff with just countless amazing people. Eventually went up to Utah, as you mentioned, Chief Creative Officer of Evermore Park for its first 2 years, or its first year of operation. And now in Orlando, Florida, as a part of Universal Creative. So there are a lot of stories in there. We can go wherever you want.
Yeah, we'll definitely circle back on them. But
I self-regulate, just so you know. I mean, if I get to any points where it's like, I can't answer that, I don't mind telling you. So yeah, and I'll put out the boilerplate type of thing out there. All opinions are my own and not of any of the respective companies that I have.
Yes, thank you. We do want to get the disclaimer out of the way. So this is all Josh's brain that you're going to hear tonight. Nothing to do with any of the companies that have influenced him in any way.
Of course not. But except for maybe a little bit of high school. We can talk about
that. Okay. So let's start going back to the Great Movie Ride, because that is a beloved attraction that is no more, and there's a lot of people that still feel the sting of that one being replaced. So what was it like being on the movie ride? How do you feel about that ride being replaced?
Well, I'm bummed. It was an important part. I told you, that's where I got my start as a cast member, but it's not just that. It really was a fun place. One of my colleagues now at Universal that I see every single day, was also on the movie ride with me. She was a bandit and a tour guide. I was a gangster and a tour guide. And it's just funny that like after all these years, we were on a video call at work, and her icon is on the screen, and there was a lull in the meeting, and I stopped and I said, "Hey, did you used to work on the Great Movie Ride with me?" And everybody in the room just started laughing because that's just a random weird question. And after a couple of beats of silence, she goes, "Was it in the early 90s?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Probably." And I said, "Yeah, we totally did." But we've talked since then, and even just last week, we were saying there was something special about the camaraderie work on the Great Ride. It's fielding attraction that doesn't have just humor like Jungle Cruise, but it has action and effects and all that kind of stuff. So there was this bonding thing with so many of us that worked there, even if you were there for a short time, or people that were there for several years, most of the lifespan. And I mean, this many years later, it's not just that person that I recognized. There are so many of us that have stayed connected from that time. And I mean, to this day, we will still, reach out to each other and chat, get together and talk, because it was fun. It wasn't like, oh, we went through these trials together. It wasn't that. We got to play. We were kids on a playground, and then having a paycheck that arrived because of it. So I can say it was, I mean, many of you out there who are thinking, oh, that must have been fun. I'm going to tell you, yeah, it really was. It was fun.
Well, that one was a little bit of a different attraction in that there was more than just you guys coordinating, when a vehicle is ready to dispatch and things like that. You guys had to play off of each other with lines and dialogue and timing and everything like that.
Right. And because of that, at least at that point in time when I was on the movie ride, and I'm sure that it changed over the years just with, general employment rules or whatever. But at the point in time when I went on there, you had to audition to be cast in the Great Movie Ride. So it wasn't just you went to casting and all of a sudden they divvied out and said, here's where they have head count. It was, for anybody out there wondering, I expressed a direct desire. I wanted to be on the Great Movie Ride. And, sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. And I was fortunate enough to where they said, well, we'll let you audition and we'll see what happens. And I remember going into this room and having to cold read a script, and was fortunate enough to then be hired and put onto the movie ride. And then you went through, a lot of training. There was a lot of script memorization. But to your point, the timing, because it's not just the precision of interacting with the audio animatronic figures and show set. I mean, that you can rely on because there's audio cues and visual cues, and it's all, for the most part, it's computer based and it's going to be consistent. It's the fact that you had tour guide against gangster or a bandit, and then that requires different levels of timing, which I'm not going to lie, like being in any show anywhere in the world on a live stage, there are shenanigans that can ensue that hopefully don't show or impact the audience. But those of you who are involved in that cast, have fun.
So there were ways that you guys would try to break each other and do fun little things. Gotcha. Well,
yeah, and even though it's like been many years and things like that, it's like, oh, I'd love to open up and talk about those things, but I'm like, nah, I probably still shouldn't.
Gotcha. I was just going to ask. Okay, what was one of the favorite pranks that you guys did?
I mean, by not talking about it, it makes it sound worse. But at the same time, it's like, now it's the club that you're a part of, and I'm like,
right,
keep it with it.
Yeah, we don't talk about Great Movie Ride Club, right? Bob, you're on mute. Were you saying something?
I was just saying, okay, we don't talk about the
Yeah.
I love that ride though. That was one of my favorite rides, and I'm glad I got to experience it before, it was replaced with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And I kudos to all the cast members who, had to act and go along with it. But it was always fun going from each, movie scene to each movie scene. So that's what I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I had a really cool trainer who latched onto the fact that it's like I wasn't just excited about working on the Great Movie Ride, but I also really loved, Hollywood and films and the history of cinema. So there were a lot of tears about it. And while training, he came in with a cassette tape video that I still do have with Casablanca and Sunset Boulevard on it, just so that I would have access to watching these classics that we somewhat tiny references have inside the attraction and things like that. And for no other reason than he was feeding the passion that I had to be a part of something that was special. So
that actually leads me to the next kind of question that I would have for you is, we know Disneyland was designed by movie people,
Right.
the guys that the crew that built Disneyland, they were movie people. How much does a passion for theater and film play into Imagineering? Like, is that somewhat of a
subjective question and a subjective answer, I think. I think that's evolved at the point in time when I was entering into Imagineering. There's definitely some crossover, and there's some disciplines in which that would be reflected. But I don't know. I don't know what that answer really is, because
because for me, it's one of those things where it's like, it seems like that would be such a benefit for Imagineering, like you said, with the different disciplines, whether it's engineering or, some sort of artistry of some sort. But the fact that to have maybe not even, actually you yourself in it, but a passion to study it and, figure out the workings of it.
I think maybe my hesitation comes from the fact that there are so many disciplines at Imagineering. And so, we talk about the theatrical side, and there's involved with that is performance and capturing the art of performance, or storytelling, or timing, or, staging and lighting and balance. And all of those things are just like a sliver of what is represented at Walt Disney Imagineering. So I think that's where my hesitation comes in, because I can think, well, those are strengths that I would have, and I can think of many of my colleagues where those are also strengths that they have. But there are so many other things there that it's not important for more than just a small percentage to be, of that fabric.
Okay.
I mean, truly, there's and this goes into like, giving the sage advice to the young up and coming Imagineers, or anybody that's in themed entertainment design. And I would usually say, don't get veered off on a path of what you think Imagineering is, because there's so much represented there. The best thing you can do is, be passionate about the fact that you want to be there, but then be the best at what you are, and be the person that they need. Because there are too many examples, and even as recent as just within this last week, hearing it again, where people would talk about the things they went into school studying for because that's what they thought they needed to do to get into the career. And I'm not saying that, that school is a misdirect. That's definitely not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you think I'm going to be an Imagineer, so I have to be an engineer, well, great. You have a few spots there that actually have engineering tasks and responsibilities. But if it ends up that really you loved scenic paint and you spent all your money and passion on studying engineering, well, you missed your opportunity to become actually the best scenic painter that Imagineering needed. So like, really latch onto that passion and become the best at it, because it is a huge field, more than people, I think, recognize, even with, the specials that have been on Disney Channel in the day and online. we've been educated a lot about it, and we know a lot about it, and there's now books and things like that. But I still don't think people understand how wide of a scope of talent fall under the Imagineering umbrella.
Yeah, that's a fantastic answer to the question. I think I do that often and just kind of forget, how many disciplines, are required to pull off what Imagineering does.
Yeah.
And like you say, you're just looking for the best of the best.
Yep. Now, being the best of the best and then getting noticed, that's hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's not impossible, but it is hard. You have to work. I mean, you the networking, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of work that goes into making sure your craft and your talent is shining and being noticed.
Now, you've gotten to, I hope I'm not commandeering everything, Bob and Cordy, but you've gotten to work with some of the best of the best. I mean, some of the pillars of Imagineering.
Danny.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes. But we often talk about that, how, somebody that was, gone before we were even born affected our lives in such a significant way. But you've gotten to work with some big names that people would know. You've worked directly with Tony Baxter. I believe you worked alongside Marty Sklar, and were be able to, kind of talk to some of these people.
Mm-hmm.
How important is that aspect in Imagineering? Is it the kind of thing where there's, these, I don't want to put anything on them, but these giants of Imagineering, is it really that kind of thing where you're sitting under the master and you are learning the craft from them? Do they have that kind of a, mentorship, attitude toward it? Or is it, come on, we're all going to go work, let's go work?
Yeah, it really depends. I watched a lot of things evolve in the years that I was there. And yes, I got to work with, a lot of these names, or even just meet or beg for autographs from Mark and Alex. You get to work with these people, begged for, will you please sign my book? But what I don't know. This definitely has to fall into that realm of like deep personal opinion coming from Josh, is that there should be a stronger capturing of tribal knowledge and legacy and passing of the torch, and not for me in particular. I mean the industry at large. I'm concerned about some of the things that are being lost along the path, because the giants that you speak of either have passed on, or through the nature of just a competitive business environment, because creative environment is definitely very competitive. Even these giants can get to a place where their voices aren't as loud or as heard. I'm trying to word this carefully, because this isn't anybody in particular. Actually, it's a larger thing, and I've witnessed some of this even in with my Universal stuff, is where I think I really wish there was more of this tribal knowledge from a generation that could have been embraced and passed on, instead of just those of us fans that had to be aggressive and go out and really ask the questions and push and push and push. I feel like Walt understood that to a degree, at least on the animation side, in setting up Cal Arts and all of that kind of thing. I think there was an understanding that this needed to continue to be passed along. Many of the 9 old men, who would teach at Cal Arts, and that was a passing of the torch and making sure that people understood the craft as it evolved over the years. And I don't know if there's enough of that. I know that there are people out there that'd be listening and probably upset that I even say that. But I do wish there was more access to some of that legacy, especially as we're seeing people pass away.
Yeah, I completely agree. Bob, Cordy, do you guys have want to jump in with a question for Josh right now, or?
Yeah, we're hugging all the time.
Yeah.
I know. Cordy, go ahead.
No, I'm enjoying this. I'm just enjoying hearing everything, and kind of talked to Danny beforehand. But that I think that's something that's kind of a hot topic in my mind. I think because in any industry, right, to have tribal knowledge, that is very important, because there are so many things that I don't know. Yeah, they do get lost, and you're like, oh, they're trying to figure something out, and you're like, man, if they just, had that information, they could kind of build that into their own, new ideas as well. So, yeah.
Well, I think that's been a hot topic lately as well, is that, the Imagineers of the, heyday, they did things a specific way, and you kind of saw how it was done over the years. And lately it seems like they're not really the new Imagineers are not following what the old Imagineers used to do. And obviously things change, but when we start seeing some of these things, you're like, whoa, what the heck is going on? How come, things aren't the way they used to be, or why didn't they think about this when they built this or whatnot? And I'm kind of just being random here right now, but I think it's really, really important to, see that legacy carried down, and it doesn't seem like it's been as much lately, which is unfortunate. But I do have a question. I mean, obviously you've worked with some amazing Imagineers. What's it like working with Tony Baxter? I'm sure a lot of people would like to know what it was like working with him.
Well, Tony's always been my biggest mentor in my entire career, but I mean, I also need to speak respectfully over the fact that he's, over the course of time in mentorship in the professional world, became one of my best friends too. So I think if I'm to answer that question, I would have to go back earlier to some of those first times that I was working with Tony, and what it was like to be in the room and trying to have the courage to speak up when you're intimidated by somebody who's had so much accomplishment. Because at this point in time, we have a rapport on a personal level where neither of us will have filters, and that's a different relationship, and which I appreciate on an entirely different level. But like I said, that's a friendship thing. I think to those earlier times, and this was doing New Tomorrowland. That was one of the first opportunities that I was really working more with Tony as well as with Bruce Gordon, and it was definitely intimidating for me because I am a fan. I do recognize these people. I know their names. I know the work that they've done, and it's not just them. It was many of the people around work that I would recognize. But to then be on a project, and you're thinking, don't say anything stupid. Don't say anything that would make them think that you're such a fan that you're scary to be around or something. I don't know. You have all these insecurities about it, right? But what I learned early on with Tony in particular, and I can speak about this to several of the different levels of mentors that I had at Imagineering in particular, but with Tony, one of the things that I picked up on really early, and I think started to hit it off with him, was how often he would listen to what was being said in terms of a creative pitch, or it doesn't always have to be a pitch, but just in any context of what was happening. And what I saw different in him than what I was experiencing with a few others was if he disagreed or thought that you were on the wrong track, he would find a way to make it a suggestion for you to think about how to get to that solution. And the reason why I say it that way, because like I said, what I had experienced with some others was in a competitive creative environment, it's really easy or fun for some people to say no, or your idea stinks, get out of here, kid, you got no future. It can be that kind of a place, but Tony would say, I think maybe the guest flow would have a pinch point there. Have you thought about a different way that they could possibly enter instead of coming from this direction? And that was the stuff I started to pick up on with him was, don't just have an opinion and shut something down. Help people find the solution and pick them up to finding that way to solve a problem. And I mean, even to this day, I was texting with him and a few others today. There are still things that, I will bounce off of him because I know that he'll at least think about what I'm asking. And if he says, hey, that's great, then, great. I feel good about that too, then, because he said that. But if there's something I haven't thought about, I know that he'll be honest with me and say, that could be an issue with this or that. So you might want to consider, A, B, or C. And I think a true mentor is somebody who is willing to be honest with you on that level, but also know how to carefully carry you along and not, dash all your hopes. Because to be honest, just like in theater, these creative fields, all of us, we're vulnerable. We're putting ourselves out there, and whether you want to admit it out loud or not, we are insecure. So it's easy to have your feelings hurt, and it's nice to have somebody who can say, "Hey, how about just thinking about it different?"
Right.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And I love hearing that side of about Tony. That's really neat. Thanks for sharing. I had one other question. So if you could name maybe just, and you don't have to go into explanation, but what are your top 3 things that you worked on at Disney that you really enjoyed working on?
My go-to, and I've always just let it stay there no matter what, is Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln that Tony and I did in 2009, which just recently, had its last show a year or so ago now.
Yeah.
But that's my top, and there are several reasons why that continues to be my favorite. And honestly, it's like there's so many things that I worked on over the years. Shoot, this is going to open up a conversation that we don't even like have. I hold a soft spot for Dinosaur Countdown to Extinction, because that was the first real big attraction that I was working on and trained as a figure finisher and painting dinosaurs when I was there and working with my brother. And that was like just amazing to me that I couldn't believe I was painting dinosaurs. And still to this
I love
day,
that ride.
but to this day, it's like, man, it's cool painting dinosaurs. And then there were several random projects that people don't tend to associate or think about as being directly from Imagineering, but I love. And one of those is the Disney Kingdoms comic book series that we did with Marvel. And so often that's like, oh wait, what? Imagineering? And it's like, yeah. There was a very small team of us that presented that and then created it. And when I left Imagineering and went to Evermore, it's not coincidence that no more got created. But I really love being able to create comic book stories about the theme parks.
That's cool. Thank you so much for sharing.
You would think that there'd be a massive market for that people would eat that up with these stories built around the attractions like that.
They were extremely popular. I mean, when because the Marvel model for those was 5 floppies that would then be compiled into a one hardcover. And when the Haunted Mansion hardcover debuted in its full 5, it premiered as #1 on the New York Times bestseller list for comics. And our VP at Marvel that I still stay in close contact with, he actually said this is the first time that we've ever, had a book debut at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. I'm like, well, yeah, it's Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion. But the thing is, it did do well. It wasn't just that title. The Figment titles were through the roof, and it was great. We got to do this one-off with Figment, and it was so crazy popular that we were green lighting and pulling the next one, Figment 2, which we didn't really have plans for. We just wanted to kind of push these out, and see what the appetite was. And it was so popular that, we're calling up the writer again and saying, let's start talking about how this story is going to continue now. And the second was just as popular, if not more so, than the first one. It didn't suffer from sequelitis or anything like that. It just was crazy popular.
Yeah.
So, and it genuinely falls into the category of, honestly, it falls into that category of Imagineering doesn't do comic books, that kind of thing, and even getting that sold internally, was an interesting thing because we had to package it up to what we'd already gotten Marvel on board. They're like, yeah, cool. Joe Quesada was like, this sounds good, and his team thought that sounded good. But then we had to go back to Tom Staggs on our level and say, hey, we want to do comic books about Imagineering stories. And he was so confused. He's like, what? Why? And we're like, well, because, much like the way Pirates, exposed a totally different audience on the big screen, we think this is a good way to dip the toe into some of our stories and characters that maybe people aren't actively thinking about or want to know more about in a fun way. And he's like, okay, but why? And then we had to explain, well, Marvel would produce it. It would be their artists, it would be their writers. We would just shepherd the story and the content and make sure that it's protected on the Imagineering side and guide the story from our end. He goes, so Marvel creates it, yeah, and we don't have to do anything but make sure it's right. And I'm like, yeah. That was it. It was like, as soon as he said okay, it was like, we're not going to double check or go back. It was immediately, okay, go.
Oh, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Now you mentioned Evermore Park. I do want to talk about that one a little bit, because that one you were the chief creative officer, correct? Mm-hmm. And that was I was explaining it to Bob and Cordy. It was, think Galactic Star Cruiser, mm-hmm. but Lord of the Rings and actually good. So
I'm not laughing for any particular reason.
Yeah. But I remember when it was announced and things were starting to happen with it, it was going to be a completely new way to deal with the theme park. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was going to be, very much, mixture of a Renaissance fair, stage magic, all these different things. And, people being able to cosplay and jump into the story. Mm-hmm. And we've seen pieces of things like that at the different parks. Knott's does Ghost Town Alive.
Right. Yeah.
So what was it like to work on something like that? That was that we see now was groundbreaking and trailblazing for the theme park industry.
As we all collectively giggle here on our, it's like, how to talk about it. Honestly, there were a lot of, really difficult things because of what you just said. I mean, this is a new paradigm. I mean, we've all talked about the Westworld model of, can you really engage with an audience and play make believe? But it's not as easy as it sounds. I don't know. Does it sound easy? I don't know if anybody thinks it sounds easy.
God, no. I would think that would be like one of the most difficult things, simply because, and it's the same thing that I always said with Galactic Star Cruiser. I was like, there's a very small sliver of the population that can handle that much immersive role play.
So, and part of me wants to I would love to be able to open up and talk about things on one level. Another part of me wants to kind of protect the secret sauce too.
Yeah, understood.
It's just ketchup and mayonnaise. I'm just telling you, a little bar.
You can get it at Jack in the Box.
Oh, we don't have that here.
Oh.
Or now.
But let's talk about just so like what kind of the, I guess, the pressure, and how do you deal with like coming up with those ideas? How did those kind of meetings go? Because when it's you've got an IP from Disney or Universal, you kind of have certain parameters that you're already working within. You've got some characters that you
where
can
are we
use.
on time, Danny?
We've got at least about 19 minutes more.
The reason I asked that is because it actually is a very interesting question, and I think the answers are also interesting, but not quick.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out how to summarize this that could be interesting and not have you lose viewers.
Well, how about this? We'll tease it out. You can give us a quick, synopsis, and we'll let everybody know that in the future, Josh will be back, and we will dedicate an episode of
Right. If you get
Evermore.
enough thumbs up or likes or new follows on my account. Okay. Well, let me put this into a little bit of a preface here by saying, I mean, I resigned from Evermore in 2019, and I'm not going to go into it, but I did not feel good about the circumstances and was upset, over the decision of leaving, and upset over uplifting life and leaving a career at Imagineering behind you. There were so many things that played in that it took me a long time to even want to discuss or talk about Evermore. And there is a lot of positive and good and fun stuff to talk about. But for me personally, it's like it just wasn't there, wasn't quite ready. And just over the this Christmas season, I did 3 long posts online about bringing Santa to Evermore for that first Aurora season at Christmas. And I thought I needed that as a little bit of a self-healing for me, as well as the ability to start acknowledging the talent that was there, because my being angry and hurt about certain things doesn't mean that the people who created this amazing magic shouldn't be celebrated, because really there was amazing stuff that happened in that first year. There was really hard stuff, but that plays into part of the question that you're asking. And the idea of this living, breathing stage, I came on board as the chief creative officer with one idea of what I thought that meant. And in my mind, it kind of was that Ghost Town Alive type of thing. It was how do you do something that has a dynamic, no fourth wall, with characters that somehow have meaning. But one of the things that was the biggest allure for me in 2017 was original IP. It was like, oh, wait a minute, a fantasy environment, like you said, like Lord of the Rings, but a fantasy environment where we could create whatever we thought was cool. That just sounded like amazing to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I with Disney and anywhere I've worked, I've always loved being on certain projects, like with the Marvel stuff and all that kind of stuff. But the idea of just being fresh and new. So coming on board with them, the one thing that they had done a few years before that was they had been hosting, they meaning the family that would get behind Evermore's name and the idea, and they would put on fancy Halloween parties, whether it be at their house or eventually out in the fields, and they had some fun things. I didn't get to attend, but that I would hear about. It's like they had passed out cards with characters on them or coins, and so there was this idea of okay, it's not. They didn't just do a haunt or a haunted house. They made it somehow alive. But that was kind of the extent of it. And so I kept, trying to figure out how that grew further in my mind. So when I went up there, it was the idea of creating this place or being a part of a place that I thought at that time had the momentum behind it to be more of this living environment. When we got, I'm gonna take a few steps forward to when we got to the opening point. The park had only really been equipped from a guest flow standpoint. The way it was designed is a linear. In hindsight, and it's not hindsight from here, but at that point in time, it was hindsight going, oh, the design of this is functioning like a haunt where you go in one side, you follow a path, you exit the other side. So the first challenge was, okay, we're going to open up for a Halloween season. We don't want it to be a jump scare, boo, haunted house, because that's not what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be a living,
Right.
theatrical stage. But it's built to be linear. And so we kind of struggled with how to make that happen. And there were already, some characters that were desired to be represented because they were popular in the way that they had tried to capture them in the past, or they'd created some artwork that they thought would be fun to bring to life as a character. And all of that sounded, great. It was just trying to figure out how to take this place that's being built on a linear path. And when in my mind, even by taking this job, I didn't think of it as that. I thought of it as a open world location. Mm-hmm. Man, there's so many details that I'm like sidestepping right now. Not to be cautious, just to try and save us time. When we finally decided that we had an opening date, even though there was a lot of construction that hadn't been completed yet, but we had an opening date. We had cast a very large cast. It was 70 plus actors because we knew we were going to be open every night of the week, and we needed to be double cast. But because it was linear, there needed to be a story, there needed to be pulsing, there needed to be beats involved with how people would come into the park and what they would get certain exposition from one character before they go into the tavern to get other exposition, and before the horde would, there were these things that all needed to happen. And we just really were struggling with this. And since the park, wasn't completed, we were rehearsing in a local city park. And we'd set up icons around the lawn. This tree represents that building, and this person's sweatshirt over here represents that building. and we would have everybody, kind of play acting. We'd have cast A. Okay, you're in your characters along the path. Cast B, you come through, and let's try and see how some of this interaction is going to happen. And the whole time it was like, this just isn't exactly right. And so I had an amazing creative team. I mean, not just with my story producers, but in our creative studio with people who were sculpting and creating monsters and things like that. And so started talking about the what if scenario. What if it isn't linear? And the business model was still, no, it's got to be point A to point B. But it was like, but what if? Just what if it wasn't linear? What would happen if this was an open world model like we like in some of our favorite video games, where you can choose to go wherever you want and interact with whoever you want, and see what stories could possibly be there. So if we had enough time in our rehearsals, we would switch modes to open world model, our B mode, or whatever we had called it at the time, where it was, okay, it's still like cast A, you're on, cast B, you don't have to follow any path, how do interactions go. And that was more of an exercise of just how crazy and fun would it be on an improv level. Mm-hmm. So park opens, and we had a big opening party hosted by FanX, and then we opened to the main public shortly after that. And it was that linear model, and we had hay bales blocking the path to make sure that people weren't leaving where they're supposed to. And the natural path that people were wanting to take was, well, I don't want to go up there, I want to cross over. And they would move the hay aside, or they'd step over it, or like lift their strollers over it and break the path. And you're like, wait, but you're not getting the full story. And And so after that first weekend, I went to the CEO and I said, we want to try an open world model that we've been toying with. And he kind of reluctantly, said, okay, let's see what that looks like. So I went back to the cast, and we would get together and rehearse every single week, and said, okay, we're going to do that other one that we've been talking about, because linear was a little bit weird, and we want to see how the other one works. So we took down the paths and gave everybody kind of their beats. And so instead of it being strictly linear, where you had to have this story to get to this story to get to this story, everybody just kind of needed to know their beats to be able to deliver in form. And we let the guests go, and that's where that spark of the whole idea really proved itself out. Like I said, that's what I thought I was moving up there to do. So it was nice that we were able to get to a point to play with that and see how it could evolve in that way. But it was hard, because what we found out is, okay, like I said, we had double cast because we thought we'd be open every single night. Well, we quickly learned that from a business model standpoint, not every night of the week is sustainable for operational costs. I mean, that's truly the nature of theme parks. Disneyland being closed Monday and Tuesdays in its earlier years.
Right.
So that was quickly identified. It was like, 7 nights is kind of aggressive, but if we were to pull it back. So what that meant is, okay, we didn't need to have as many performers. Well, now what that meant is, because the stories were becoming more open world and improv based, our double casts were not necessarily aligned in how they were presenting their characters and developing their stories. So that first Halloween, we really tried holding things together with everybody that we had in telling an engaging story and trying to evolve this. But what we learned through that was we had cast people based on their performance ability, and a lot of them, just barely out of high school, or some of them were, more established actors in the Utah area, and we're like, I can't believe I'm doing this kind of thing. But we had, variations of who was there, but what I found out especially by our last night, was not everybody is cut out for the stress involved with improvisation.
Right.
We were putting huge amounts of improv on the actors, and that's not what they were auditioned for. Many of them auditioned to be a character in something that was fun. They didn't expect to all of a sudden be on the spot to have to constantly be building and pushing story and handing it off carefully so that it can be evolved throughout the park, or answering people's questions and coming up with answers on the fly because that sounds like something that character would have said and they sent you to me. Well, of course, and building on the story, the yes and process. So by our closing night, we had this big thing where it's like, we're going to have the Rangers lead this big thing, and it's going to be this finale quest, and there will be a hero at the end that will be dubbed. And one of the people we'd given this task to, I found out after we closed that night, went to the hospital because they thought they were having a heart attack. And it was a panic attack. They were actually suffering from a severe panic attack because of the pressure, of a full, 3.5, 4 hours of nonstop improv, making it up on the spot, making sure that everything's going well, and just really felt horrible that we'd put so much pressure. So rolling into Aurora in the Christmas season, it had to be retooled to handpicking, and there was a few more auditions still that needed to be held because we were doing things like we needed Dickens carolers and certain elements like that. But at that point, it was making sure that who was going to be in the thinner, leaner cast moving forward was truly okay with the idea of the improv basis, because it can be a very high stress environment.
Yeah.
So that was a learning thing, but that ended up being part of the addictive magic of what was Evermore. It wasn't just that our cast of performers were so actively involved with creating these make-believe worlds. It was that we were starting to see a lot of repeat locals, and what that meant was like Ghost Town Alive kind of hits a hard reset every day, which would be nice. We didn't do that. We said we're evolving, and so every single night Evermore opened, the story progressed.
Oh wow,
that's hard. So it also meant that me and then my one primary producer, story producer, were the ones that were sitting there every day going, okay, so-and-so said this happened, so-and-so said this happened, wait, we didn't expect this is a relationship, we weren't planning relationships, we need to do this. We need to ask before that night and say, you're the primary tonight, you hold the main information, and you're the secondary tonight, you need to push everybody towards that direction. And then that was every single day and every single
that is impressive to even attempt it.
It was exhilarating and exciting, but it is really genuinely hard to sustain. And I wish that it would have found, its magical wings to fly. That's not the stress that I think, led it to not being able to be sustainable. But really, that is a really difficult type of thing to maintain.
Yeah, I've got tons of questions that I would love to kind of dive into, and perhaps I know it's late for you here, and we do want to honor your time.
I knew it's like once we open that can of worms, I'm like, I don't know.
But no, that it makes me think that maybe we should, if we can maybe schedule a time, we'll do a recorded interview, because this Evermore Park, like I said, we're seeing the bits and pieces of it starting to come to life in other parks. Mm-hmm. Of what you were talking about, and I would love to hear more about it, and I think some of our viewers would too. But obviously, we don't have time. But I do want to get to a little bit of the Universal stuff.
Okay, as I say, we don't have to hard stop right now. We can carry for a little bit. So
yeah, well, let's get to the Universal stuff, because we've got Epic Universe opening this year, and we've seen some incredible footage that either Universal has released or wonderful eyes in the sky have been able to capture for us. And I know I know you can't probably reveal anything more than what has been officially revealed. But out of the stuff that we've seen, what is the thing that you have been able to witness and you're thinking, you guys have no idea how much cooler it's going to be when you're actually there?
With Epic specifically?
Yeah. Epic specifically right now.
Well, I only say that because there's so much around the world. Man,
I'll tell you what, because for me, it's the Dark Universe section that I'm really curious about.
Okay, hold on.
All right.
The reason I'm hesitating and pausing is because my excitement has been for Dark Universe. And I feel like that is so much of what everybody's going to say. And then obviously you just said it too. Because I mean, how's that not cool, right? So the low hanging fruit for me is like, well, yeah, Dark Universe, but genuinely, I mean, there's so much going on in that park that I'm like, I can't wait to experience it, from this is how theme parks have now taken the next step. This isn't like, hey, Evermore, we made people interact with you. That's not it. This is, hey, a brand new state of the art, all of the best tools in the industry available and best designers in the industry available are opening a theme park this year. Everything that you would think is possible in the theme park industry in 2025 is going to be revealed in Epic Universe this year. So that's me, speaking as a fanboy, but I would say if I'm not to go for that low hanging fruit of Dark Universe, which say you're running this on screen, I'm like, oh yeah, I talked to so and so at work today. Probably The second most, or at least a close tie from the first for me, is the Isle of Berk, the How to
Yes.
Train Your Dragon stuff.
Yeah,
That
the
looks
footage that
amazing.
we've been, that people have been able to get for us,
Yeah.
just looks tremendous. I mean, everybody was like, "How to Train Your Dragon? Is that really, something that can sustain an entire area?" But now that we see it, we're just like, "Oh my God, that looks so cool and fun!"
Well, and I mean, you commented on like some of those aerial shots when I first got out here. A lot of my past colleagues from Imagineering that were close friends of mine actually work here too, so it's a giant family reunion. But I, for me, I'm like, how is there so much footage? Why have I been, in Utah watching aerial shots of the construction? I said, is this stuff like officially going out, or are people flying their drones over? And it was kind of like, yes. I'm like, oh, like really? And what I didn't know at the time, and this is like right as I came on board, is I guess they had some pretty severe information leaks. And I will say, I mean, it for me, it was like read the room type of thing. It's like it was so uncomfortable that I still to this day have not really felt like I can sit down with anybody and say, hey, so dang, what happened? Just don't ask. And I'm seriously, these are like my friends, and I'm like, I just don't want to bring up something that makes people uncomfortable.
Oh,
but
wow.
That's what I had wondered from the outside, is like, how are people like looking at this? And don't get me wrong, I mean, like I said, I'm in Utah and I'm going, wow, I get to see what's going on over at Epic. That's pretty rad. But also, I guess when it comes to something like a drone, maybe you can't do anything about that, or I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I've got to say, just from your reaction right now, I'm that much more excited for Epic Universe, because people have been saying, it's, game changer, gonna possibly, shift the whole landscape there in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
And
it will.
Yeah, so that's it's incredible for me to hear it from someone like you, that has.
Well, I mean, but you know me as a friend. I mean,
but I mean, it's somebody that's in the industry and isn't just looking from the outside, or and a hater or a shill or whatever.
Right.
Those are the people that you kind of go, okay, I get it. You've got a thing that you've got to do, and
Sure. Yeah.
But someone like that saying it kind of makes me go, okay, maybe we are really dealing with something that's going to be a massive.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of said it near the beginning, and it was, I'm not on here as any official representative of any of these companies whatsoever. I'm on here as Danny's high school friend. So really, what I'm telling you, even about Epic, it has nothing to do. I mean, I'm not. This isn't a safety thing that I'm saying. It has nothing to do with the professional work that I'm in. What I'm telling you is, as a fan, I'm thinking, this is what I've seen. This is what I'm excited about. And as a theme park fan, I just can't wait.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I know you well enough to where it's like, okay, he's not kidding about this. He's not just, pumping up the team or anything. This is, like you said, a fan speaking about what they're seeing. And so it's very encouraging for me, because I've been talking that, I'm really hoping that they knock it out of the park with this one. I'd really love to see something.
If I can take that fan spin and apply that onto a work conversation just a little bit, because as I'm watching this video along that you're showing, and I think many of us have gone through this and freeze framed and all that fun stuff. But I will say, here at Universal Creative in Orlando, and I mean that as a specific, the location, the place, all that kind of stuff. I work with so many passionate theme park fans. A lot of the young talent that I work with here, many of them are from here in the Orlando area, or at least regionally, from East Coast area. And so many of them have come up in theme parks and have aspired to be a part of the theme park industry and design process. And it shows. I mean, I work with, seriously, I'm just looking at this stuff and I'm thinking about certain conversations I've had with young talent, and I think about how excited they are to be a part of something that is this cool. And my energy actually feeds off of them. I mean, there's a designer I was talking to today who is just so passionate about theme parks. I mean, in general, that I went to my boss and I said, you need to talk to this person. I said, they aren't just talented in what we've hired them for. Their passion actually has a lot of value and a lot of meaning. So I'm saying that because I feel like I get to work with some pretty cool people who love theme parks.
That is awesome. And like I said, for me, it's wonderful to hear that, because there's too many times where, you're listening to the different, media people, and, these people are going to love it. These people are going to hate it. And you just kind of, it's like,
yeah,
what's the truth here? And so to hear that there are those people that are passionate on the inside and are being recognized by some of the, I don't want to insult you, but the old guard, so I'm wearing the hat, so you can't see the gray hair as easily. So,
what are you trying to say?
Yeah. One of the presentations that I did, this is several months ago, it was first I presented to our CCO. So I don't know what to expect. I don't know the personality. I don't know. I'm going in and tap dancing and trying my best. And one of the bits and pieces that I had just kind of brushed apart along and what I'm talking about, he stopped me and he said, hold on, why? And I said, what? Why this? Why this and there? And I'm like, oh no, I have to give the answer that I'm going to get skewered for. And I said, well, because it's cool. and he kind of did give me kind of okay, I think he expected, a better response out of one of the creative directors. But I was also being genuine. I'm like, well, that's not in there for any other reason, because it's cool.
But that's exactly what sometimes is needed. You need to do something that's like, you know what, there's no real depth to it. It's just like, if you do it like this, it's just going to look really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's still in there.
Awesome. Well, like I said, I do want to honor your time. I know it's very late over in Florida for you right now, and you probably have work to do tomorrow. But we would love to have you back. And like I said, we could maybe, try to schedule something a little different and do a recorded podcast with you to get a little more in depth with Evermore, because that is something that I'm dying to learn more about. But again, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Josh. I appreciate it. I hope I didn't overstep my bounds and, invite you on and be like, hey, come on.
No, we've been friends for a long time.
But yeah, we would love to have you back. Anytime you're ready.
It's not a loaded question, but I say if there's interest, then yeah, we can continue talking. If there's not interest,
I think there's interest. We actually have questions from people, but I know you have a limited time, so we'll have to table those questions for maybe next time. So,
just say, do you have a format or a place? I mean, if we didn't stay on tonight, you would channel questions, or do you just do them on the fly only?
We could probably arrange to start contacting our viewers and letting them know that, hey, we'll have some questions. But I did want to show this one to you because I know the work on Link, and that one, that's another one I would love to do a deep dive with you.
Yes, but Spaceship Ears, who is your grandfather?
Spaceship Ears, you still with us?
Yeah, oh, he's here.
Okay. So we will hopefully find out in just a few seconds here.
In what way did we help preserve your grandfather's work?
He is John DeCure's grandson.
Is that the answer that was just given?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you? I was just say because that's pretty cool. That's awesome. Honestly, it's like is super awesome.
Yeah. So there you go. It's obvious there is interest, and we would love to talk to you more.
I know John.
So yeah.
Yeah. Let's start earlier some night.
Yeah, we will definitely figure it out, and we will have you back on. But thank you so much, my friend.
Cool.
You know, I think we're just gonna have to come out to Epic Universe when it opens, and we'll just
there
do
you
it right there in the park.
Yeah,
right?
that would be great. We'll do an in-park hangout.
If we can get tickets to the park, that is.
If I can get tickets to the park, that is.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. One last little funny story. Maybe this is the thing that gets me in trouble. Let's see that hook right there. I actually had somebody from a competing company tell me about when they were previewing Epic, when, you know, in the upcoming dates they're previewing. And I went, I don't have a time that I get to see Epic. How come you have a time that you get to see Epic? And they kind of went, ooh.
That's hilarious. Well, before you leave, though, can you tell us where we can find you in case people want to check you out?
Yeah, but of course, I'm on X, formerly known as Twitter. When do we stop saying that? Are people comfortable yet? My handle there is @ShipleyLand, just like Disneyland, but @ShipleyLand, and it's the same over on Instagram @ShipleyLand. And I've been trying to actually be willing to post more. Like I said, I opened about a few of those Evermore stories, and I wanted to be objective and positive because there were definitely good things that came out of that and have the ability to influence more good stuff. So I've been trying to cultivate that.
Awesome. So everybody go follow Josh on X and Instagram. Let him know that you'd love to hear more, and hopefully we will be able to have him back very, very soon. But again, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you taking the time. Love hearing the stories, and I look forward to when we can hang out again, maybe at Disneyland sometime.
Yeah, and Danny, chada. Ching, ching, ching.
Awesome. All righty, man. You have a great night. We'll see you.
Good night.
Thank you, Josh.
Good night, Josh. Thank you.
Oh, what a guy. What a guy. Love that guy.
Yeah. So I'm sorry we didn't get to some of your questions because he had a tight timeline and he stayed a little bit longer for us. But I'll go ahead and I'll save these questions and we'll table it. And that way, hopefully, if we do have him on again, which it sounds like we will, we can ask him some of those questions. And thank you so much for everyone for putting some of those questions into the chat. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did.
Yeah, that was fun. I think there's so much I would love to be able to just sit and talk with him and get it solidified for posterity. So
once he got talking, I was just like, "Yeah, go ahead."
I know, me too.
I know that's
yeah.
But
what else?
We're theme park fans, and he was, in the mix of it all. I mean, when you're working with people like Tony Baxter, and it's
who? Just kidding.
I mean, I would love to just have some time to just walk through the whole great moments with Mr. Lincoln. It's like, because my thought is, how much pressure is that? How do you feel once you're tapped and it's like, okay, you're on this project now, and it is one of the hallmarks of Disneyland, something that was very near and dear to Walt himself. How do you handle that project knowing that what you produce is going to be just examined with a fine-tooth comb, and there is so much emotion behind it, and people have, very strong opinions when it comes to those kind of things. It's like, how do you deal with that kind of pressure? So, but hopefully we will get a chance to talk with him about that and Evermore as well, because that one, like I said, the fact that we're seeing, what they were trying to do there, starting to kind of spread out into the other parks and the other companies, it's obvious that one there was something there that caught everybody's eye. And, we're starting to see the fruits of what that little stone into the pond did.
Barbara said that was great. I hope he can come back. And who knew you were that cool, TPC?
I'm only cool because I was near him.
Spaceship Beer says, let's get Tony on. He loves these kind of stories. Oh, yeah.
I would love to. Trust me. If we could someday get a chance to just sit with Tony for 5 minutes, I would be over the moon.
So we need to talk to Josh, and Paula knew it.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. So we're gonna shift gears a little bit, but I hope you guys enjoyed the time that we had with Josh Shipley. Again, go follow him. Let him know that you had a great time. Let him know that we'd love to have him back on the Park Streamers Hangout. Just so that he does feel the love, and when we ask him again, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I remember a bunch of people were asking me to be on, come back on."
Even comments on the stream, right? On our here.
Yes.
We can always share that.
You can put a comment after the stream, or I think you can still do comments while we're streaming, but just in addition to the live chat, that always helps. So what's up?
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, when he started off and he started talking about this thing called America Sings, oh my goodness, I was like, I want to talk about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there was just one little snippet from that, and then I was just like, wait a minute. Was that from America Sings? Like, yeah. and I still remember because he kind of looked at me like he was like saying like, yeah, why? Because he thought I was going to, do like he said, everybody, what a nerd. But no, I was just like, Disneyland freak. Awesome.
Well, we've had,
and I got to say, it's one of those things where, when you're in high school and you're a Disney fan and everything. And, way back then it was not the cool thing, and to see him, be able to live it out, live the dream, become an Imagineer. I remember him telling me one time, he's like, Imagineering, it's a job. And it's like everybody else's job. We deal with budgets, you deal with personalities, you deal with deadlines, you deal with spreadsheets and, people wanting to track your time, all these different things. He's also 95% of it, it's just like anybody else's job. It's just work. He's all, but that 5% is just so good. So just another interesting little tidbit.
Should we welcome some more people into the chat here today?
Yeah, who else we got coming in now?
So many.
I know. So another Brian, welcome in. We also have, let's see, who else joined us?
Kayla, right? Did
Kayla just joined in as well. Let's see, got to go back here. Dadman Walking, 55.
Dadman
55. Yep. We also have Brian Hernsberger Frosty. He's still
Christina
Frosty.
Holmes.
Yep. And let's see. Once lucky, I'm going to go way back here.
I feel like we're
Haunted Mermaid.
Haunted Mermaid. Hey.
Yeah. Paula knew it. Not sure if I said it before. EXP626.
And I would have loved to be able to acknowledge all you guys, but I was trying to keep my pay attention to Josh. But I saw all of you guys mentioning, I got to meet Kim Irvine and we got to meet, Tony Baxter, Marty Scott. Very cool stuff. I wish I could have met some of these people. In fact, I'm really bummed because they had a book event for Knott's Berry Tales last Thursday, and I was trying to see if I could get to it, but there was just no way I could go. And sure enough, Tony Baxter was there. I was just like,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang it. Well, they're trying to do a second round.
Yeah.
And then they're still trying to get the book into the park. So hopefully they will. But their second round, I'd love to go to it. We have a couple other people, Buddy Hepburn,
Jordy.
Smoking Thrills, Jordy, Alan Smithy.
Brian Sevilla. You got to check it out. Look
Sevilla.
up, I think Kooky Trails on X. They've been posting stuff about it. I can't remember exactly where you can get the book. I'm sure you could probably order on Amazon right now, but yeah, it's a book dedicated to the history of Knott's Berry Tales.
Yeah, let me see if it's there on Amazon real quick. I do know that they're trying to get into Knott's Berry Farm, but they haven't been able to do it yet.
And Spaceship Ears, I would love to get over to a Retro Magic event. That would be awesome.
Yep. And by the way, we're still trying to work on getting someone special from Spaceship Ears family to join us as well. So
very cool. So we're going to shift gears real quick here. We've got a little more than half an hour. I kind of want to get to bed at a decent hour tonight after last night. Yes. Circling the Toy Story lot for 45 minutes trying to get out, and finally one of the nice bus drivers came and moved some of the cones so I could get to the exit.
Yeah, he just got home before we started the show.
Yeah.
That's why he's got 13,000 likes or whatever it is.
I'm telling you, man, that lot was just dumb.
Main Street Cowgirl swears by it.
I didn't see the magic.
That's a whole nother episode because
I know
why it's so bad.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, let's talk about our next topic then.
All right. We're going to shift gears to the Lunar New Year event coming to DCA. Just this Friday, we will be launching another year. This is the Year of the Snake, I believe. Am I correct?
It is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Year of the Snake. And the Lunar New Year, it's an interesting one for me because you normally wouldn't think that this would be such a big deal, but they go all out and it becomes an actual, a very well done festival. And me and Bob, we were at the park last night. We were just talking how, once you see the booths, you're just kind of like, oh, I can't wait because the food and, everything about it, it really is a good festival.
It was my favorite festival last year.
I've actually heard that a lot from people that Lunar New Year is actually one of their favorite of the festivals.
And there's not a lot of frills, right? We get our cavalcade.
Yeah, that's what's funny. You don't get a lot of the big entertainment because they do some of the smaller stages. They do have Lunar New Year performances,
but yeah, it still is like one of the favorites. Especially in more recent years, I think it's kind of grown into that. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Well, I think one of the things is the food's really good. Yeah, and not to say that the food's not good for the other food festivals, but most of the food is really good, and they always try to have something new and interesting and delicious to try. But I'm kind of happy that they don't go all out. To me, Pixar Fest, it feels like they don't go out enough. Where it feels like Lunar New Year's is just perfect, for what they do and how they do it. So, and I don't know about you guys, but I had a lot of fun hanging out with you guys last year, trying to, eat some of the food and try it out. It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking forward to doing that again. Oh, what? Oh, sorry. Did I put that up
there? Oh, man.
So they have the Mulan's Lunar New Year procession, 20 minutes long. I didn't realize it was that long. I thought it was a lot shorter, but yeah. Nice.
Yeah, they've got a decent amount of performers in it.
Yeah, that's a long route too. The parade, the procession routes.
And then of course you got the Hurry Home Lunar New Year celebration. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's really cool when they do this.
We get some fireworks and everything.
Yep. Yeah, I like the fact they do a little fireworks beforehand. I almost wish they did more fireworks with the World of Color.
Yeah.
But and of course they do it. It's a pre-show before the World of Color one, which I kind of wish they were showing a different World of Color. But yeah, that pre-show is just so cool. I actually like the pre-show better than the actual World of Color.
A lot of people watch it and leave.
Yeah. It's like, put fireworks. All right, we're done.
Yeah.
That would be
but they have the all new. Now, here's what I thought was interesting. They're doing the Minnie Mouse and Minnie Mouse. I said Minnie Mouse and Minnie Mouse. Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse dressed in all new colorful Korean attire. So this is the new attire that they'll be wearing this year.
Yeah, I think they because they always have the information for all of the cultures, right? They have it all up on the boards. But I think they're trying to just highlight, I think, a little bit more to give people a little more in-depth about each one. And then I also the sip and savor cards. There's one to represent each. So that's I like.
But I think it's great. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's great when they bring out all the Disney characters. Of course, they got that Lunar New Year wishing wall, which is really cool because you can, stroll underneath those ornamental lanterns and make a wish. You can just stop by that wishing wall. It's located in Paradise Gardens. If you guys aren't familiar where it's at. And guests of all ages are welcome to bring their own magical message of hope, health, happiness. And it's really cool. I love when they do those types of things, especially for each of the different type of cultures for, whatever they happen to be doing for each of those,
Yeah, and
celebrations.
I've said it before. There's right ways and wrong ways to do these things, and it feels like Lunar New Year they hit the nail on the head. They've got the right mix of cultural, education, but they also make it a fun, approachable event that you don't feel like, hey, are things going to get a little, too out of my comfort zone kind of thing, and that's easy for me because I don't eat very many different foods. So if you add a little bit of curry to something, I'll be like, oh, maybe that's a bit much for me. But I think they do a good job with these ones, and I think part of what makes Lunar New Year, like we were saying, how it works is it feels like it's on a slightly smaller scale, so it feels a little bit more intimate. Whereas Pixar Fest, like you were saying, it feels like that it was kind of like you should have went bigger, because it's not quite as a personal thing. It's more of like that you wanted the big bombastic party kind of thing. So the Lunar New Year, it's nice that it feels a little more intimate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's Friday, but they may have soft opening. I was thinking because the booths are already up and ready. I mean,
well, they usually do that, don't they? They usually do the day before, or maybe even 2 days before, where they start with the foods.
Because
So
we're all supposed to be there Wednesday, so we may see.
We shall see.
Some of that, yeah. Hopefully.
Maybe.
If I can get any signal.
Oh, geez. That's been
DCA has been murder for me, man. It's been rough. I don't know why my phone, for whatever reason, just does not play well with DCA.
Well, if you park at Toy Story. Once you're you go there a couple of times, they give you a little extra.
Yeah. God. Oh, brother.
That's funny. Oh, Carol says she's going to be there, so she says she hopes to see everyone. I think she mentioned earlier she's the 2nd through the 5th. She'll be there. So
Amusement Park Pirates is saying Thursday is the soft open of the food booths confirmed.
Ooh, see, I have a reservation for Thursday and Wednesday. What did Brian say? Toy Story parking lot is the ride after the ride. Too funny.
Anywho. So Cordy did a preview of the Foodie guide. What did you find interesting for this year, Cordy? What's the 2 or 3 items that you're like, okay, these are the ones that I have to try right away?
Oh gosh. Well, they don't have, what was it? It was because last year they had the char siu ribs. Remember that? That was one. Remember we all tried it, and then it started raining.
Yeah.
Yes. But you know what? It's funny because we had that great experience, not with the rain, but with the ribs, and I thought they were awesome. And then I went with my dad to the Lunar New Year last year, the end of the year, before they got rid of it. And almost everything we tried, including the ribs, not good. I was like, ay. It was so weird because it seemed like in the beginning, everything was so good and great. And then at the end there, my dad and I had a bad experience, unfortunately, with almost everything we tried. It was crazy. But they're also running out of food. So make sure if you're going to go in the beginning.
Well, I was going to say, you got to be careful with some of them because don't they portion them out? Like they've got like quantities on some things for that day because they don't want to run out.
True.
They want to be able to have, stuff to last through the weekend. And I want to say that they were doing that last year. They were basically rationing, certain items so that it's like we have this many for this day and we're keeping these ones for tomorrow because we don't want to open tomorrow without any for anybody. So
yeah, this time they're doing, so it's not at the what is that called over there, stage, now I can't remember. Anyways, it's not over there in Hollywoodland, but it's mini char siu pork shanks, and it'll be at a booth with rice and pineapple chutney. So that one sounds interesting. We've already decided a lot of us are going to bring our own rice because there's other dishes that we're like, we really need rice.
Bring our own rice.
You're going to get filled up on rice.
You guys
bring it in these big Tupperwares of rice.
I don't have it. Of course,
and then there's going to be Cordy on the black market over there in the Magic Key section.
I'll have them all made. Here you go.
Yeah. $5 gets you a scoop of jasmine rice.
Oh,
you didn't get that strawberry macaroon with the green tea? I can get you for it. You want the matcha one, right? All right, gotcha. $5.
I know. Yeah, that and the birria egg roll is coming back.
That's the one we got last year too, right? That one, I thought that one was pretty good.
Yeah, that one was really good. I guess I always had like really good ones, so I'm looking forward to that one. And then the red panda bao, remember that was there for Pixar. That one's coming back for Lunar New Year.
Okay,
that's one of them. But there are so many. There's fire chicken wings. So one of the ones we all kind of decided we wanted to try. They have a pho dip. So it's like a French dip sandwich, but it's pho dip with rice noodles, sliced beef, shaved jalapenos, pickled onions, and pho broth. So you have extra to dip into. But that one sounds really interesting.
I thought the orange thingy was all right.
Ugh.
No, you know what? The sauce is good, but wait, are you talking about the dessert one? Or are you talking about
the dessert one?
The dessert one was okay. It was all right.
Well, that one's coming back, but this time it's not going to be that gelatinous thing that they served last year.
That gelatinous monstrosity.
It just because it looked so pretty, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to try that. And then you have it, and you're like, oh, what's this?
Yeah, it was a little bit different the way it looked. It did look better than it tasted, but it was I still thought it was okay.
Yeah,
garlic noodles. That was the amazing one. I love the garlic. Wait, garlic noodles. Someone put it in the chat. Yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed that last year.
See, we were talking about it, and Christina had brought up like for the kids, like her kids like that, right? And I'm like, oh, I should think of it that way because we got it and we were like, oh, I can make this at home. Like it wasn't anything like super special, but then I'm like, oh, that is good to have some foods that are just, just more.
Go and Shogi. The orange thing was like, I guess like a orange flavored flan with a gelatin, bubble on top of it. I basically vaguely remember it, but I just remember it looked really pretty.
Yeah, it looks pretty. This year it's a mandarin
great.
Orange cream puff filled with citrus cream and mandarin compote.
Ooh,
So they changed it
I could dig that.
Puff, which I think is
I
a good
didn't see
idea.
that one. So now we got two Oh
No, that one's not coming back.
Oh, it's
The
a cream
gelatinous thing is not coming back. They
So
switched
no,
over
no,
to-
no. I was thinking of the strawberry macaroon. And we
Oh,
got this,
yeah.
orange cream puff. I'm
I like
thinking
the
we
other
got
one.
some good desserts.
The
What?
purple yam macaron was, I preferred that over this one.
The purple.
The years before,
Oh,
a couple of years ago.
you didn't like the strawberry one?
It was good, but I liked the other one better.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I like the strawberry one. I did like
Yeah,
that
I
one.
loved it too. Until they ran out. Oh boy. Part of the eating process is by sight and smell, Terry says. And welcome.
Yeah,
Terry.
that is true though.
But
Visually,
yeah,
it could look like.
There were just so many options around the resort, which was
Mhm.
really cool. From all the hotels, downtown Disney. So, of course, it's on the Disney Parks blog. And then I just did this last week, so I did a stream and we went over it. We went through the entire foodie guide item by item. So if you want to see that, that's on my channel. But also the Parks blog has all of the descriptions if you want to look at that. But
Tom says, dang it, now I want to eat again. And it's late here, y'all. I know, I'm getting hungry too. It's like, oh, seriously, I love Asian food. Woo! I'm getting ready right now. Oh, let's do it.
there's a tumbler, a stainless tumbler that I think everyone's going to want, though.
Oh, what's on it?
Well, they show Donald Duck on the front, but it looks like it's all of the characters or 4 around, but they only show one side of it. But it's so pretty.
Huh. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. Is it on the foodie guide as well?
Yeah, it's close to the bottom of the.
Okay. I just found the
the
page.
list,
Let me
yeah.
share
The Mickey
this so we
shaped
can
hot
look
dog
at it.
buns coming back, of course. That one's popular. That one is very popular.
What is coming back?
The Mickey shaped hot dog bun. It's
Oh.
brioche, the brioche style Mickey shaped bun.
Mhm.
It's got little bits of hot
Oh.
dogs.
Oh,
sticking
look,
in
we got different color cards for the Sip and Savor Pass.
Mhm.
it.
And that's
I
representing-
only want the Donald Duck one.
I know,
It's
Donald.
representing the of the 3,
Cultures.
Chinese and the Korean, the Vietnamese. So
Mhm.
that's what I was saying. It's kind of like a keepsake, and then also
Really? I just threw mine away from the holidays, festival of holidays.
But I mean, this is different. Yeah, this is a lot different.
So here's your gift cards that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's funny how they have these collectors. Ooh, see, there's the strawberry macaroon. Yum, yum, yum. There's the pork. Is that the short rib? Is that what it is?
That's I think that might be the fire drumsticks or something like that.
Ooh, that sounds good to me. That looks good to
What
me.
is it? It's either that or the char siu drink.
Oh, so here's the other thing. I saw this the other night. They have the brown sugar milk tea, and that sounds great to me. But I'm sorry, why is there no boba? It's like you're gonna have a brown sugar milk tea. I want some boba with that.
I think they have that at Lucky Fortune Cookery.
Oh, I'll check it out. Danny's all, who cares?
Yeah, I'm
There's
not a
garlic
boba
noodle.
guy, so
Did you guys try the shrimp lo mein last year that they're showing right here?
I don't think I did.
I
No, maybe I
tried-
did because they literally give you 3 pieces of shrimp. I think I did.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I tried it. I liked it, but I like the garlic noodles better. I know the garlic noodles look plain here, but they were actually better than the shrimp lo mein. And then, of course, look at the drinks they got.
Mhm.
There you go.
Lots of good drinks.
You got your your rock sugar with that one drink. Interesting. Oh, and there's the Bidia
egg roll.
Mhm. Oh,
Terry,
there's like a little
yeah.
snake coming out.
join all of us as we try the foods, and we'll at least experience that together. I wish you could come out.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're doing the Kung Pao Bao again, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a plant-based chicken. I kind of wish they would just do maybe both, And don't get me wrong, I tried that one last year and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't the same as the pork one.
I believe, let me scroll. I thought I saw that somewhere else.
The Kung Pao Bao?
Yeah, like there's that one that's plant-based, but I could have sworn I saw it another location.
Well, there's the one right next to it, the red panda bao. That's jumbo pork and vegetable bao.
Yeah, look at that.
Let me see.
Almost looks like it should be peppermint flavored.
Kinda, huh? Oh, looks like that pot stickers. I kind of wish they'd do the pot sticker steam instead of. Oh, here's the orange one that you were talking about, the new one.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you got the. Is this the faux noodles up here? Sliced beef. Yep, that's it.
Yep.
Right there. Interesting.
Yeah, that looks good.
What is this? Oh, the taro Vietnamese style iced coffee. Ooh, interesting. Okay, I'm not an iced coffee person, but that does look good.
So there's the banana pudding bread. So they got rid of, or this year it's a different churro. It's I think a coffee churro versus the almond cookie churro that was like everyone loved. Like people would just go for that. So now instead they have the almond cookie bread.
Yeah, interesting. And of course, you got your hot dog, strawberry milk tea, macaroon. Oh, that's
the pizza is so good too.
What's on the pizza?
Scroll. It should have it.
Oh, bulgogi. Oh, bulgogi.
Yeah, it's really good.
That sounds good. See, I'm getting hungry now. I don't really want some of this stuff. At Clarabelle's hand scoop. Hey, we're all about ice cream, right? We got the lychee fruit sundae.
Oh, that looks so good too.
Yeah. Did they show that?
They do.
Is this one right here? There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. And then they also have the Mandarin Orange cream puff, which you talked about. That's up here. There it is. That looks good, actually.
Yeah, it sounds like a better combination.
Oops. Sorry, went backwards. And then, what do we have here? The Vietnamese barbecue pork chop with sparsely garlic noodles. That actually looks good. Doesn't look like they give you a lot, but looks good.
It is lamplight.
It is lamplight. So, and then the green tea donuts. The
barbecue pork is only at lamplight?
Yeah.
That particular, yeah. It's
new. It's only available. It's January 8th through April 27th. So it's actually going to go for a while. So that's pretty good. Donuts are only going January through February 27th if you want them. Kind of looks like a Frankenstein donut. And then, of course, what do we have here? We have
Paradise Garden Grill. I swear, that's like one of the best places. Every time they come out with a seasonal menu.
So,
always delicious.
Beef broccoli. Oh, there you go. You got your boba. So milk tea or tiger milk tea with boba. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Hard peach tea seltzer, strawberry lychee. Okay.
Then you get
some of these look good. Oh, whoa, what is that? That is a strawberry and creams. Ooh, that looks good. See, here's my thing. There's so many good looking things here and that look tasty. I can't wait to try it. Now I know last year we tried a lot of them and some were like, oh, this is amazing, and some not. It's always like that. But some things really look good. Like I would definitely give a bunch of these a try. By the way, I hope that's not like a 4-ounce or even an 8-ounce boba tiger milk tea because that thing looks small.
Either that or it's a gigantic straw.
That too.
It is so that's good.
What is this? This would be Legend of the 10 Spices Flatbread. Kung Pao beef, sausage bread, toasted bok choy, and Napa cabbage served with onion cilantro salad garnished with heirloom radish and chili threads. Interesting.
Trish, sometimes. Right? Sometimes it's
sometimes it looks really good. Other times it's like, all right, did they have their eyes open when they put this together?
Scallion pancake tostada. That just sounds terrible, but it looks good.
That's not it, though. I looked at that. I think Wait, okay, so because I
That
thought this
is.
thing is that the one? Because there's 2 items that they list, and I was like, wait, is that this or that?
Well, I mean, this is topped with
Pancakes,
scallions.
yeah. But see, the scallion pancakes, my daughter makes those. Like that's just it's a traditional.
There's your hot dog.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
the sweet taro bread. Oh, that actually looks
That could
interesting.
be good. Yeah.
It might be. But wait. Okay, are those actually like 4 Hawaiian rolls? That would be nice if they actually give you 4 Hawaiian rolls. Because usually you get 1 Hawaiian roll as a sandwich.
Yeah, no, they do the 4. It's like the one. Remember, Devin loved those,
Mhm.
the cream cheese
True.
ones, I think. But same thing, where they're like 4 in that little container.
Yeah, it's weird. The cream cheese one, when I had it, it was like I was able to finish it, but it could easily be something you share.
Portion, yeah.
It seems like a small portion, but it turns out that it's really a good portion.
And then we have some new churros, everyone. We got the toasted sesame seed and red bean churro. I don't know about that one. That sounds interesting. But we also have where is? Wait, what's the other one? It's the firecracker marshmallow wand. Is that no? That's not it.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yes, Geophi, there's a secret menu.
Oh, it's a Vietnamese coffee churro. Vietnamese coffee churro, classic churro rolled in coffee sugar, topped with a bold coffee icing and sweetened condensed milk. Speaking of which, we need to talk about the maple bacon churro because I just had that yesterday.
I've heard about that. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go. Here's the temporary.
Yeah. Isn't that so nice?
You know what? I can see it right now. Danny's gonna want to get one. Okay.
The merch, I'm very, very particular because I don't really use the merch once I get it. You know, stuff like that, it'll just sit in the cupboard. So I'm extremely particular. There's very few things. In fact, I think the Cusco glow cube was one of the very few items that actually had me go, okay, I got to get that like first day I can get there.
That's just, I love red. So it's my.
And this is kind of cool. It's got the straw clip. For a minute there, I was like, oh, it's a Christmas tree ornament.
We'll have to start doing that and then offer it out in the Esplanade for people that aren't in DCA.
Yeah. Hey, you want to buy it?
Park Streamers Hangout. Who wants one? That is too funny. What is this? This is at Disneyland Hotel?
Heather brought up, because they do the whole fish at Paradise Garden Grill. Me too. I'm glad that they're not breaking that tradition because they always have it. And I remember when I didn't see it pictured, I'm like, oh, are they not doing it this year? So that's pretty cool because I know a lot of people do order that there too.
And yeah, this looks good. Dan Dan noodles. It's Dan Dan pork noodles. Ooh, I love Dan Dan noodles.
It's a weird name.
What? Dan Dan noodles? Oh, you want some Dan Dan?
Yes, the red bean is on top, so it's like they kind of put it into something that they can, because they have it in those, like, what are those called? Where you put the frosting, but they have it so they can put it on that way. So the red bean churro, the red bean is on top.
Oh, they'll pipe it.
Pipe. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ooh, they got some really good stuff at the hotel as well. Did I tell you guys my very first job was working at a Chinese restaurant for Japanese owners? They call me Bobby-san. And I kid you not, and I'm not making fun of anyone. This is like, oh, Bobby-san, how you do today? One order egg roll, 2 shrimp fried rice to go home. And I'm like, okay. And I was a part-time dishwasher and cook, so it was really cool. Trust me, it was one of the toughest jobs I ever had, but it was amazing. Okay, I don't know what this is. Oh, Szechuan shrimp. Ooh, spicy shrimp, steamed rice, broccoli, sesame oil, and green onions and garlic. Oh, that looks good. Doesn't look like they give you a lot, but that looks good. That's at the Hearthstone Lounge at DCA. Or I mean, sorry, Grand Californian. That looks good.
I don't like shrimp.
Oh, jeez. You and your
I'm not a seafood guy.
I see food and I eat it. I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Hey, these look good. The donuts. Pixar.
I'll eat the donuts. Let's have some
These
donuts.
are the 5 spice sugar donut holes served in a Chinese takeout box with chocolate sauce, raspberry sauce, and whipped cream for dipping. That sounds really good.
I can dig it.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the Sketchpad Cafe. They're going to have coconut bows. Well, looks like a cool little dessert. I like that. They also have the giant brown butter, and lemon fortune cookie, red velvet cream cheese whoopie pie. Ooh, that looks good. Strawberry and chocolate chip overnight oats, right there. And the coconut matcha latte with sweet mango puree and coconut jelly. Ooh, those are sounding pretty good. But look how much they have. I mean, there's a lot of food. And we're in, obviously, downtown Disney now, checking this out. But Ballast Point Brewing Company is going to have the sweet and spicy sticky pork ribs, which looks really good right there.
There's your pork belly brow buns.
Oh.
That's where it is. I was like, I knew I saw it somewhere.
Okay, so then I got to go over there.
Mm-hmm. Centrico.
Oh. Well, I'm kind of bummed that they put it over there, but at the same time, it's a lot easier to get a reservation for Centrico than Paseo. But I don't know. Have you guys been to Paseo? Because I'm not hearing good things about Paseo. I'm hearing really good things about Centrico.
No.
Or is it Centrico? Or is it Centrico? I don't know. Probably butchering it. Sorry, guys.
It's an expensive restaurant I have not been to.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say the same thing. Never been.
Well,
I go to Napolini's and have my personal pizza.
Right.
I go to Earl's Sandwich and
Well, that's right. It's good though.
Oh, jeez, that's so funny. All right.
Although I did get the burnt ends potato yesterday.
Oh, how was that?
It was good. It was good.
I love burnt ends.
Put it basically just a tiny step below the holiday turkey potato. The holiday turkey potato was really, really good. But this one was pretty darn good. And definitely worth it because it was like only like $10.27 after your discount. So $10 for
that's a pretty good price.
Yeah, and it's a decent sized potato. It's a good filling meal. So
in comparison to $18.50 at Knott's.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, Knott's I think are bigger though. Knott's.
I don't know. I have to.
From the one that I remember, the Knott's one was like a gigantic potato where I was just like, I can't eat any more potato.
Yeah, then ours wasn't gigantic when we got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
They may have changed it.
Unfortunately.
I finally did try the maple bacon churro. And so, it's interesting because they're like, I go, hey, so there's 2 churros. He goes, we take a regular churro, break it in half, and then I'm like, oh, really? That's it? I'm thinking, I'm getting 2 for 1 here, 2 for the price of 1. But how do I start? The maple glaze that they put on top is good. But, you have the churro with the cinnamon and sugar already, and then you put this maple glaze on. It's almost a little too sugary. However, the bacon does taste good on it, and it does kind of balance it out. And they put a lot of bacon on mine, but I kind of wish I had more bacon because I felt like I needed a little bit more salt to that sweetness balance because it was very, very sweet. But I enjoyed it. It was good. It was different. I think I've had some. You know what? I don't know what it was, but was it the green apple lightsaber churro with the butterscotch dipping sauce? Oh, that was so good last year during the Star Wars, After Dark event. But it was good. I would get it again, and I liked it. I'm just glad I didn't buy 2 of them because I was like, I think I'm going to buy 2, but I was doing dessert before dinner. Yeah, that wasn't necessarily a good idea. So
Heather said, I liked Paseo, but I liked it even more because I didn't have to pay because that place is a bit spendy.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the best way to have those kind of places. Be able to enjoy it on somebody else's dime.
Yes. That's why we should all go on Cordy's dime.
Just kidding. It's like I always say, there's only one thing better than Paseo. Free Paseo.
We can share a plate.
Yes, the three of us would like to share this one plate.
One of these and 3 plates, please.
Welcome to the Park Streamers Hangout. We're going cheap tonight.
Yeah.
Water.
Well,
exactly.
It's 9:58. Do you want to talk about Haunted Mansion real quick and get in some
Sure.
Q&A?
Yeah, Haunted Mansion is finally coming back. The original. We don't know what changes they may have made. There's been rumors that there is going to be a new bride. There's the rumors that we could have new effects for the hitchhiking ghosts. I don't think any of it has been completely confirmed. Has anybody heard anything of any confirmed changes that are happening?
No, the rumor. Do I go into the rumor without someone killing me? Yeah, so I've heard the same thing, obviously, with the hitchhiking ghosts and the bride. But also they were talking about maybe redoing the very end, where you see the hitchhiking ghosts that follow you home. So we'll see if they do end up, making the change. I don't think they're going to, basically because the bride. Listen to you. Actually, I like the one. What?
I was going to say you're saying that you don't think so just because of how quick of a changeover.
Yeah, well, not only that, but the system they were using for Haunted Mansion Holiday is the same type of system they were using before. There's no way they would switch it over in 2 weeks. And I don't think they would be able to unless they, had the screens and everything set up so they can just, put those up. Because really what they have in Walt Disney World, there's just like TV screens behind the mirrors, the two-way mirrors, and there's different special effects they do where like they blow up your heads and your head goes flying off of it like a balloon. It's kind of funny. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. I'm kind of holding off because my contact has not gotten back to me on a couple things, and I don't want to say anything yet, just in case it is or is not happening. So, yeah. But yeah, it's exciting to know that it's finally coming back because we haven't seen it since 2023.
Yeah, it's been a year and a half since we've had original Haunted Mansion, so it'd be nice there. Are either of you guys going on Saturday?
So what's that?
I said I have a reservation.
Yeah, I have a reservation too, but I want to go on Sunday, but my nephew's birthday is on Sunday. So I have a reservation for both Saturday and Sunday now that Saturday opened. So hopefully I can go on Saturday, but I just don't know yet. I've got to wait and see. So
do you guys think they'll do a soft opening on Friday?
I hope so. I have a reservation.
Yeah.
I got a reservation for Friday too.
They may. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I honestly think that when it comes to the Christmas stuff, though, usually they just say, "Hey, it's open and closed from here to here," and they're usually pretty accurate about those.
Pretty stringent on it.
Yeah. If it was like had been closed for a long time and is reopening, kind of like what they did back in July last year, then they could definitely do a soft opening. But I don't think they will for this one. So. But we shall see. And speaking of, what's that?
I was just curious of what you guys thought.
Yeah. Speaking of closures, just want to remind everyone these are the ones that are closed for refurbishment right now. So Meet Tinkerbell at Pixie Hollow's down. Obviously, Disneyland Monorail and Disneyland Railroad as of today is down. Thank you for following us last night. For those who made it on the train, sorry, Cordy, I know you didn't make it.
You missed out on the streamer train.
I know. We were like, Cordy's going to join us, and then it was like, oh, she's not here. We're at the last.
I saw the meeting. Cowgirl said, she's like, we were like, Cordy.
Obviously, Haunted Mansion is down, but it's opening up on the 18th. The Disney Gallery and, of course, the Disneyland Story Presents Great Moments with Lincoln is down. That won't be open until later this year.
May 16th, I think it is.
Yep. And then Jolly Holiday Bakery, man, they definitely have that thing covered, and they're working on it. But it really does need a quick little refresh and remodel. So it's nice to see that they're doing that. Yeah. And they do have about 20 tables out in front of it, but not very many. Yeah. So that's what's happening right now.
Thank you, Trish.
I think I heard that to do a soft opening, you have to pass. What?
Yeah.
Oops. That's a soft sore subject.
Guess I'm not doing the soft opening.
Guess not.
No. Jesus, I've well, do we have any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Question?
time for some Q&A. Anybody?
So while we wait, I am planning to go Friday. I took the day off. And my rep says, you're taking another day? Ha ha ha. Like, you're going to be passive, whatever, aggressive, whatever you call it. I'm like, yep, sure am.
They don't watch the Park Streamers Hangout, do they?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
On a need-to-know basis.
So I got to watch out. I got to watch out. I got a bunch of people that work that watch now. So.
And I'm like, but it's a 4-day weekend, so I was like, I might as well.
Danny's planning on going to Disneyland when?
Yeah. No, they know that's why I'm able to go on Wednesday. We have an agreement. Wednesday, cool. I get to leave a little bit early.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, so Cordy's like, I got Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and I got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week.
Yeah, Cordy's like, I go to the Toy Story lot, so I get 7 reservations.
Yes.
Sam says, I'm really tired of these caviar eating Toy Story landers.
It becomes a bit much sometimes, Sammy there, but you know.
Oh, look at this.
The weight of the opulence can be just a bit much at times.
That's funny. Spaceship Here says, I'm just grateful you all stream regularly. I got hooked on East Coast streamers years ago and glad you're representing our coast. Oh, thank you so much, Spaceship Here. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Do you guys have any other questions, comments, sarcastic remarks for us?
Let's see.
Sorry,
Sammy Bear.
How dare you?
Sorry, I got excited because there was a question about Toy Story.
All right, what's the question?
Adventures with Roto Commish says the Park Streamers Hangout. So when is TPC going back to the?
Oh, for crying out loud! And they're sending it.
Hey, by the way, not a question, but Spaceship Heroes brought this up earlier. He said he saw that Joe Rohde is doing a talk in Santa Barbara this Saturday. So it's another opportunity to see an Imagineer, which is really cool. So I guess we won't be seeing, Cordy at Disneyland. I'm just kidding.
Oh, sorry, because I'm again. Wait, where did I see? It was scrolling so fast.
Seriously, going Shogi, the Buzz Lightyear section. I should have had the photo ready for you guys to show you what I walked into when I went into the parking lot, and they sent me off by myself into the outer reaches of that barren hellscape.
But let me just say this:
cold and alone in the wind. It was dark. Unknown area.
Don't you feel like if you? I wish we could do like a thing where we see like how far, like when you get off the tram, how many steps does it take to get to your car? Because let me tell you, Mickey and Friends have been sticking me all the way at the farthest corner of the.
I think the furthest I've had to park back from the front edge of Mickey and Friends on a day where it's a free-for-all, I think the furthest back is maybe 12 spaces.
Yeah, no, see, I've been like top floor all the way, that far corner where the security guy is, all the way back there.
They must look at you and say, oh, wait, this is a Toy Story.
They're like, you know what?
Get them to the top. They like to be out in the elements.
Over to go to
they don't need a roof over their head. She's a Toy Story lotter. Send her to the top.
I get home quicker. I do get home quicker. I get to the parking structure and home quicker. That's another plus.
It was awful. All I'm going to say is awful.
Oh my God.
It was a waffle. Oh.
It was a waffle.
I wish I had a waffle. I was like starving in that line for like who knows how long.
You get waffles on the way to the park if you go in the morning. Sheesh.
Barbara says, "Oh my God, he's telling the story, Toy Story plot tragedy again. Time for me to go to bed. Good night, and thanks everyone."
Here, hang
Sorry,
on.
Barbara.
I'm gonna let me see if I can pull up the photo real quick here. I could probably do it on the.
I know, Maria. That's what I'm talking about. Waffles.
This is what I walked it. This is what I was walking to. Everybody, you
Yes,
see that
look at
little
all
white,
that open space.
that little white speck in the middle? That's my car. That's how
All that
far I
open
had to
space.
walk, and I was already halfway there.
I did have to park there probably 3 trips ago, and I was like, why are they putting me in the convention parking? I was bitter that day, but then I was okay.
I am not a commoner.
Are you sure you have this right? Why are you putting me this way?
Don't you know who I am?
You know what this is, right?
Where's Mike Skellington? He was talking about
The whole time I'm sitting there, getting ready to take off for Disneyland, and everybody's just talking up the Toy Story lot. So I pull up, I go across Ball, and I'm approaching Harbor, and I could already see the overpass, and it's just backed up. And I'm like,
yeah,
God,
it really was bad that day though.
And so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna. It does look pathetic.
Kid is pathetic.
So I decide, all right, you know what? Everybody's talking up the Toy Story lot. Let's go give it a try. Oh, it was so bad. I basically parked right next to where the toll booths are.
Oops, sorry.
I had to walk all the way over there, and I walked through, and I'm in this line, and the line just is like these, 100-yard switchbacks, and you got to go through at least 3 of them for when I was in there. And I'm standing there, and I'm like, I'm getting sunburned out here. Why don't they have a roof? Could you imagine if it was raining?
30 years from now, this will be TBC. Did I?
And so you do these 100-yard switchbacks, and then you get to the one cast member that's sitting there hurting everybody, and she's like, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. You people that way, and those people go and they get like right on a bus. And I'm sitting there, like 10 people away from being one of those lucky people, and I'm like looking, going, I still got like 1,000 people in front of me. And so another bus comes, picks up a bunch of people, and takes off, and I'm still waiting for a bus. Meanwhile, those people are like laughing at me as they're driving by. How is that a tolerable experience?
What was
They
your?
didn't hand me any champagne. There were no hors d'oeuvres.
But what was your attitude going into this? I must ask.
It was, let's see how they do. I've heard a whole lot of good things about the Toy Story lot.
Let's see how they do. I don't have high hopes.
And apparently I pulled the curtain back and just got to see exactly the horrors of this place.
Jeff Goldblum. I'm from Wicked, but so Jeff Goldblum.
I'm surprised they didn't make me sit on the top.
Thank you, Barbara. Have a good night. No, wait. Here you go. What? No Grey Poupon?
Exactly.
They'll probably build a Toy Story parking lot before they do it Tomorrowland.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Too funny. It's funny. I see all these funny comments, but I don't see any more questions. So
you should.
Yeah, everybody's just sitting there, dogging me about the Toy Story lot. If you guys experienced it the way I did, you would be just as frustrated and as appalled as I was.
Right?
Not only was I appalled at the actual experience, but the fact that my friends convinced me that this was the better experience.
Maybe we need to get you a shirt that says, I survived the Toy Story parking lot.
There you go.
Just saying.
A new emoji.
It's going to be Toy Story with a big X over it.
Toy Story casualty. It's going to have a hat. It's going to have Woody's hat instead of an ice cream on the skull.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez. I think that would be funny. You should do that. It's an inside joke with all of us, but it would be funny.
It is. I'm telling
I
you.
don't think it's an inside joke anymore, considering that video. we're over 14,000, I think.
That's crazy.
And it is GeoFire. I stand by Toy Story.
We need a TPC Toy Story parking lot sticker.
Yeah, we're at 14,200 views and over 230 likes. And the recent comments are people who agree with me.
The emoji could be Woody standing in the middle of a huge empty lot.
Crying.
But did you
Same way I was.
The Toy Story?
And they left me. They all drove off at the end of the night. I'm sitting there, walking back to my car. I don't even know how to get out of the place. I was like circling around for like 30 minutes trying to figure out where the exit is because there's nobody anywhere.
I had front row parking at it. I'm sorry.
Wow. Look at that. We need a Toy Story parking lot popcorn bucket.
There you go.
And what is it filled with? Regret.
You guys are killing me. Oh, that's great. All right. Well, yeah, he said, I'm pretty sure Cordy was home before you got out.
I know. I text everybody. I was like, how do I get out of here? Somebody help me.
Crickets.
The only thing I got, the only response I got was, you need to join the virtual queue to exit.
And no pin for you.
And so I'm sitting there in the app trying to find the virtual queue, but there's nothing.
Toy Story parking lot zipper filled with tears. I'm going to be like the Pope next time I get into the Mickey and Friends structure. I'm going to get out of my car, just kneel down and mwah. Hey, did you? No, I heard the Mickey and Friends. I heard the Mickey and Friends and Pixar were much better later, but man, let me tell you, it took me almost an hour just to. I got there at 9:45. I didn't get in to the parking structure, in and parked, until 10:45, and that's because they were directing everyone to go to Pixar. But then there was no one waiting at security, so I got through that and on the tram in 10 minutes. I was like, whoop.
Yeah. Mrs. Casual, she and Casual Junior went this morning, and they were there at about 11:30, 11:45 ish. And she texted me. She's like, the parking structure's a mess. I think she said it took them almost 45 minutes just to get through the toll booths and parked.
See, that's ridiculous. I'll tell you the reason why it took so long. And by the way, you guys broke me apparently. But when I was going through the parking structure, they only had so the two right lanes for Pixar, they were flying by, and I'm like, why are they flying by? Well, they had two employees working at each booth. When the lane I was in, there was two to the left. They were combining together, and there was only one person working at the booth. It was like, oh, come on, that's ridiculous, So, too funny. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions, so I think we could probably end now because you got to get to bed.
Yeah, I got to get to bed.
Before you park in Toy Story again.
Yeah.
Still recovering.
Got to get to bed. Have those nightmares.
Too funny. We have PTSD from that.
Yeah, serious.
Well, Spaceship Ears did say thanks for an amazing stream tonight, and thank you for
thanks for joining.
We really appreciate it. It was awesome. It was a great stream.
We may have to do March Madness. We may have to be that I have to park in the Toy Story lot during March Madness.
Oh no, I don't even want to hear about that.
Just so that I'm already in a cranky mood by the time we even get going with the rides.
You should only do it if it's raining. All right.
Exactly. If it's raining, then it's got to be Toy Story lot.
Schedule for rainy day.
Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight. I hope you guys had a fun time. I hope you guys enjoyed our special guest, Josh Shipley. Hopefully, we will be able to have him back again. If you want to follow him, it is at Shipleyland on Instagram and X. please go follow him. Let him know that you enjoyed his time here on Park Streamers, that you would love to see him back. If you want to comment on the video, that would help us out as well. Other than that, we will be saying good night. And Cordy, if you want to let everybody know where they can find you and when you'll be streaming next.
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Discord, Cordy in California, and Twitch. Sorry, almost forgot Twitch. And I will, my next reservation is this Wednesday.
Awesome. And right below me, we have Bob, Barry Place 28. Would you let everybody know where they can find you and when you're streaming next?
So you guys can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. And I do have a reservation for Wednesday and Thursday, but I don't know which night I'm going to be there. So I will give, hey, if you guys follow me, hit that notification bell. You'll see when I'm going. And that's it. Oops. There we go.
There we go. And I am Theme Park Casual. You can find me on YouTube, X, Instagram, and also wandering around the Toy Story parking lot. I will be streaming next, I plan on Wednesday evening. So I will be at Disneyland Wednesday. So with that, we will say thank you again for joining us tonight. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and hopefully we will see you in the chats on the live streams. So until then, have a great night, everybody.
Hit that like button and subscribe. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed our amazing show tonight. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next Park Streamers Hangout. Have a good night, everyone.